And actually in America, since the very early 1980s, they've had collegiate recovery programs in higher education institutions. Now, the oldest one's, I think it's Brown University, New Jersey. And then there are a lot of different iterations and versions of these collegiate recovery programs all over America, all very diverse. Some of them, within the Bible Belt, might be very kind of evangelical Christian leanings. On the East Coast, there'll be very kind of liberal and activist-based movements. Each one very, very different, but with this guiding principle of offering recovery and education side by side, two really congruent concepts. Recovery and education share an awful lot of common ground. This idea that open-mindedness and learning are a solution in our lives to some of the difficulties we're having. This idea of exploration and stepping out into the world, coming out of the shadows and into the light, actually turning up and kind of putting your hands out and saying, right, what's this world got to offer? What a fantastic, amazing thing. If I didn't have that in my recovery, I'm not sure how well I'd be doing, man, because the excitement and the absolute raw possibility of what there is out there to discover, it's the bright spot of my life alongside carrying the message of recovery. So those conversations became the kind of early stages of developing really the first integrated European collegiate recovery program in the UK, with all the cultural dimensions and social dimensions that would make it work in England as opposed to America, because America has a very embedded culture of recovery. The birthplace of the 12 steps. It's a culture that is very comfortable with recovery. In fact, if you open up a box set on Netflix, the likelihood is you're going to see at least one character who's in 12-step recovery within that box set throughout the duration of the series. So utterly embedded in the culture, certainly not in the UK. The case that is that recovery is a very comfortable notion.
And recovery is, I think most people, obviously the general public, if you spoke to them, recovery is a good thing. But actually, when you actually talk about recovery in professional circles, it's very uncomfortable. But in America, it's considered a really good thing even in corporate levels. It's something that if you sort of got 5 years in recovery, that would be a real plus. So it's a very different attitude. I mean, I always feel like being a professional 12-stepper that. Again, it could be just me, but I don't think so. But I often feel that in professional circles, I'm like the last person anyone wants to listen to in the room. There's all these other agendas that seem to take precedent